Son. My son, you have always been with me, and all the things that are mine are yours. But we just had to celebrate and rejoice, for your brother was dead but has come to life. He was lost and has been found. Luke 15. 31, 32. Jesus does not reveal what the older son eventually does. However, after Jesus' death and resurrection, a large crowd of priests began to be obedient to the faith. Acts 6. 7. That might have included some of the very ones who hear Jesus relate this powerful illustration about the son who was lost. Yes, it was possible even for them to come to their senses, repent, and return to God. From that day forward, Jesus' disciples can and should take to heart key lessons that he set out in this fine illustration. An initial lesson is how truly wise it is to remain in the security of God's people, under the care of our Father who loves us and provides for us, instead of wandering off after tempting pleasures in a distant country. Another lesson is that if any of us should deviate from God's way, we must humbly return to our Father so as to enjoy his favor again. Still another lesson can be seen by the contrast between the father's receptive, forgiving spirit and the older brother's resentful, unwelcoming attitude. Clearly, God's servants want to be forgiving and welcoming if one who had strayed truly repents and returns to the Father's house. Let us rejoice that our brother who was dead has come to life and that he who was lost has been found. When the younger son returns, how does his father respond? How does the compassionate father reflect the ways of Jehovah and Jesus? In what sense does the older son's reaction mirror the way the scribes and the Pharisees behave? What lessons do you find in Jesus' illustration? 203. The illustration of the lost son, which Jesus just related, should have impressed on listening tax collectors, scribes, and Pharisees that God is willing to forgive repentant sinners. Luke 15. 1-7, 11. Now Jesus addresses his disciples. He uses another illustration, this time about a rich man who learns that his house manager, or steward, has not acted properly. Jesus relates that the steward has been accused of mishandling his master's goods. So the master says that the steward will be dismissed. What am I to do? The steward wonders, seeing that my master is taking the stewardship away from me. I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. To deal with what lies ahead, he concludes. I know what I will do, so that when I am removed from the stewardship, people will welcome me into their homes. He immediately calls those who are in debt, asking them, how much do you owe my master? Luke 16. 3-5. The first one answers, 100 measures of olive oil. That is some 580 gallons of oil. The debtor might have had an extensive olive grove or been a merchant who sold oil. The steward tells him, take back your written agreement and sit down and quickly write 5,290 gallons. Luke 16. 6. The steward asks another one, now you, how much do you owe? The reply is, 100 large measures of wheat. That is some 20,000 dry quarts. The steward tells this debtor, take back your written agreement and write 80. He thus reduces the debt by 20%. Luke 16. 7. The steward is still in charge of his master's financial affairs, so in a sense he does have jurisdiction over reducing what others owe the master. By reducing the amounts owed, the steward is making friends of those who made to him favors after he loses his job. At some point the master learns what has happened. Though what was done means a loss to him, he is impressed with the steward and commends him because though unrighteous, he acted with practical wisdom. Jesus adds, the sons of this system of things are wiser in a practical way toward their own generation than the sons of the light are. Luke 16. 8. Jesus is not condoning the steward's methods, nor is he encouraging crafty business dealings. What, then, is his point? He urges the disciples, make friends for yourselves by means of the unrighteous riches, so that when such fail, they may receive you into the everlasting dwelling places. Luke 16. 9. Yes, there is a lesson here about being far-sighted and using practical wisdom. God's servants, the sons of the light, need to use their material plan ahead. Use practical wisdom. Luke 16. 1-13, 204. Assets in a wise way.